So today we're going to be taking a look at designing with positive negative space. We're going to use everyday items that you can find around the house. You'll need a single piece of paper, 8.5 by 11. If you don't have that, you can use a paste and notebook paper. But you're going to look for a minimum of 2 items around the house, whether it's a pair of scissors, paintbrush, sunglasses, or any items that you possibly have that you can trace. As we go through the process, we're going to divide the sections into 3 to show the differences of black and white, to show positive negative space on alternate items. Here I'm placing an item on top of the piece of paper to trace it. I'll get another item, pair of scissors here. I'm going to trace around the object. You can overlap the items to create a more interesting composition, but we want to make sure to get all those gaps in between the objects, maybe the handles of the item. Take your time, make sure you're accurate. The more items you use, the less likely space you need to color in all black. So, though you only have a minimum requirement of 2 items, I would probably recommend more so you're not going to be coloring in black for an hour-long process. Use a little tape roll. Make sure to use 2 hands, one to hold down the object so you can get an accurate trace. After you traced all the items, you're going to get a straight edge. It can be a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you can use a cereal box. Any item that you might have from the mail that can draw out 2 lines to divide it into 3 sections. You have the left, the middle, and the right. Once I have those all drawn out, I'm going to look to start coloring in every other section. So I can start with a small section. I'm taking a look at the tape here. And the idea of this is that we're going to alternate so that 2 pieces are never the same when they're next to each other. So for this design, the right side of this paper, the outside edge will likely be all colored in black, whereas the middle will be having a white background, and the left side again will have a black background. Might be helpful if you mark out the areas that you need to color. That way you don't accidentally color in a section while you're concentrating on coloring in a specific area. Make sure to mark it so you know that area is going to get colored, while the section next to it will likely be left empty. We want to make this look as professional as possible, so take your time, color in each section. Obviously, the bigger sections you can wait till you get towards the end to make sure that they're completely colored. But this way I have a good understanding of where the outside edge of the scissors may be. So once I've done the outside section over on the right, I'm going to start looking to outline the pieces in the middle. I know that the larger area of the middle is going to be white, so I can look to start coloring in this part of the sunglasses. And because I did the inside of the sunglasses on the other divided line, now I know to mark the outside to start coloring in the outside so I don't get confused or mix it up. Again, just make sure you mark the area so you don't accidentally select the wrong area or start coloring in the wrong area and having to redo. You can see this area is a little bit more tricky because it has a bottle opener on it, so it has a rigid area. But just go along with the traced lines. You should be okay throughout the design. Once I finish up that scissor area, it gets a little bit more confusing because I overlap the scissors with the paintbrush. But again, you're alternating between black and white. If one area is supposed to be left white, then I understand that I'm going to have to paint inside the part of the scissor that's overlapping the paintbrush. Then the rest of the design is just making sure to clean up the edges, making sure that we fill in all the areas of black. If you don't have a Sharpie marker, you can use a Crayola marker. Just be careful of the smudging. If you don't have a Crayola marker, you can do this all in pencil. Just do your best to make it as professionally clean as possible. Once you've finished coloring in the black and white design, you're going to take a picture of it and submit that picture onto Google Classroom.